People, Deluded, I'm back again. Now, I know I talk about a lot of youth players and all these sort of stuff and a lot of other topics and a lot of Arsenal topics, but a lot of that is irrelevant from today, people, really and truly. Now, listen, big respect for the NHS. Anyone, whether doctors, catering staff, nurses, all the other roles that go into NHS. NHS for years has been underfunded. They've been banging on about this. They haven't been taken seriously in it. Most working class people, in fact, even in today's society, people like Boris Johnson using the NHS, you see how vital it is. You know how underfunded it is. You know this should be a top priority. And, my sympathy, my respect, everything I can possibly give to people in the NHS in general, more so in these times, especially because they're not even getting adequate equipment and them things there to protect themselves, and a lot of them have to isolate themselves from family. Nothing but respect for them, literally saving lives, people. And obviously footballers are when this started, the world of football reacted too slow in comparison to other sports, and then footballers were hung out by politicians who, are tax funded, who should be fixing a tax funded sort of thing like the NHS, criticising them and their wealth and things. And if I'm sure you've seen it, Scottish footballers and Premier League footballers, specifically I think the English ones, have joined forces to donate or make a significant contribution to the NHS. A lot of them have been doing these things already, and a lot of footballers are working class, a lot of footballers are in touch with that sort of stuff, so it's no surprise that the ones that were hung out to dry are the ones doing the most, really and truly, why these MPs are on a madness. And I do think when this, God willing, when this corona stuff is done, it's not going to happen because, people in this thing get away with everything, but the Prime Minister, the Cabinet, certain people in Parliament, everybody's got to be held to account, and there's got to be a serious review, because the whole handling of this corona stuff is ridiculous. And to be honest with you, don't get me wrong, I've donated to the NHS previously, big up the NHS and things, but it dawned on me, and I've got to say it, I don't believe in donating to the NHS, really, and that in the sense of why it deep to it one day. I was doing all this, donate to the NHS, big up the NHS, and again, I still believe that. Like I said, big up the NHS. Then it dawned on me, it's like, why are we paying taxes? Yeah, and again, if they need help, we'll deal with it. But why are we paying taxes? We pay taxes to fund this. So why are we paying? We've already paid taxes to this. Why are we donating this? Why are we donating more money to a tax-funded thing where the government should be fixing this? Give them what they need. We heard there was no money tree, all of this fart in general, and magically, and figures are being announced left, right, and centre. And it's sad, man. I don't think the NHS is going to survive long term. Like in the next 20 years, I don't think it's a thing. Like I do think by the time I'm 40, 50, it's not going to be the NHS as we know it. And it's sad because, it's sad that money or the amount of money you have shouldn't dictate if you have access to health and health benefits and things. But this is the life we live in, unfortunately, folks. Like I said, England and Scotland footballers have made a significant NHS donation. They made a significant donation. I believe it's in relation to the match fees dating back to September 2018. The move comes in conjunction with the Players Together movement, which obviously involves the Premier League. And obviously last month, England women's announced they would donate. And if I haven't said it as well, big up Scotland ladies team as well, because they're also involved in the act. So, 4 teams at national level, England boys and girls, Scotland's boys and girls coming together in comparison with obviously what other people are doing in the Premier League. And I know I'm focusing on football. Everybody's doing everything. It doesn't matter if you obviously £1 million can go more to help in certain things and funds, but it don't matter if it's £1 million or a tenner. You can always help someone. I don't believe in donating to the NHS now because it's like, why am I donating more money to something that I'm paying tax for that should be fixed? You get it? It feels a bit like a shed. And I mean that no disrespectful way to the NHS. And again, we have to donate because if the money's not coming from somewhere, despite these current times, if they're not being given the significancy in terms of resources that they need, then it is what it is because they've warned people. And again, the likes of Boris Johnson and Hancock and these people, they will not be held to account. They typically make these decisions. The economy and society is just one big game to certain individuals. But, it'd be nice if they were held to account one day. So big up England and Scotland's people as well. And obviously, I'm not going to read out Robertson's comments, but I might as well. He said, "We've all been at home taking advice of medical advisors and watching the news. That highlights the heroic efforts of our NHS. We've all been inspired by the selflessness of the nurses, doctors and all health workers on the front line. It only reinforces how vital the NHS is to our country and how we must cherish and protect this institution." And obviously Robertson, 5 years ago, I'm sure you've all seen that tweet where he made a tweet like, "Life is crap, broke and things like that. And now he's a Premier League footballer. So he once was, it might not have been 5 years ago, but he was a working class lad. So he knows what it feels like, innit, to worry about things. And what I mean by that is they're always in touch. Footballers, they're always called money grabbers and things. They never forget where they came from because they're just essentially the same middle class people. I've spoken to footballers as well, people, and it gets to a point where a lot of them felt, not that they were better than anyone or get anywhere, but it's like you get that money, or you get, obviously with that money and who you are, you then open up a new level, a new room in society. They've said they step into these rooms and nothing's changed. Like, they still look at them like dirt. Like, the only difference is obviously they've probably got Versace on or something, but they still look at them as dirt. And footballers are always hung out to dry, and I'll always protect footballers because they actually donate and do a lot. We shouldn't have to sit here and talk about finances, but it is what it is, people, in that regards. Moving away from that though, and I saw a report on the BBC, there's a lot, and by the time this video comes out, there'll be a new development in relation to the Premier League, how we keep it moving, how we get back to going and, trying to do things. There's a report on the BBC, I'm purely just reading Simon Stone's bit, but it was a good little report. It showed, I can't remember the sports, but football is only of interest to me, but it showed football, I believe rugby, and I can't remember the other one, people, but, it was how all the sports would react sort of thing. Simon Stone has said the Premier League is hopeful of restarting on the 8th of June. No date has been given for the English Football League, but Chairman Rick Parry on Tuesday said the season must be concluded by the 31st of July. He said teams face a 200 million hole by September. The article then said when the EFL might return, it said in theory it would be looking to start at the same time as the Premier League, but there are major hurdles to overcome. In addressing the issue of top-flight games potentially playing games on neutral grounds, Parry told the Department for Culture, Media and Sport, I believe that's what DCMS stands for, hearing the same rules do not apply for his club in terms of the threat of supporters turning up to stadiums. At lower level this might be true, but amid the debate about Liverpool fans wanted to be at Anfield on the day the club end their 30-year wait for the title. Few have mentioned another of the country's best supported teams, Leeds, are on the brink of returning to the Premier League after a 17-year wait. So again, listen, I'm not saying it's just Liverpool fans, but it runs the risk. Obviously, like, you got to remember, Liverpool is it's a town thing. It's not just obviously Liverpool's got international things and people in London supporting, but Liverpool and Everton is the two. That's who man are supporting really in Liverpool. It's a town sort of thing. And you can imagine they'd be out. Again, I'm not saying it's Liverpool, but there's always going to be a small section of people who defy the rules. So you run the risk of people congregating, whether that's Liverpool celebrating coming back and winning the Premier League in the 30 years, whether that's Leeds celebrating returning to the league, whether that would be Arsenal winning the league, because I might even still be out there now. On a serious note, I wouldn't. And all these other things, or even if matches get playing at neutral grounds and things, just because it's at neutral grounds doesn't mean there's not a threat. If it was played in the Emirates behind closed doors, people are going to congregate outside, and that can be said for many other people as well, people. Even if it's played elsewhere, there'll still be sections turning up, or people might even just link up in the normal spots they would in and around a football stadium and be together. There will still be that sort of stuff, people. They won't stay at home. Well, there's always one, because it seems like English society, we've always got to be so defiant. I'm sure you've all seen, it doesn't matter what town, what city, there's this small group of people chilling in the park, having barbecues, just doing dumb stuff, people. And this is all said that now I think we've sadly overtaken Italy for the highest death tolls in terms of this corona stuff. He also said, would West Yorkshire Police be happy to sanction a game at Ellen Road under such circumstances? Obviously, it would be stupid to. And if the answer is no, does that mean all championship matches need to be moved? How feasible is it for a season to finish by the 31st of July? Parry said the EFL needs to work backwards on this. It's previously been stated it would take 56 days to complete the season, including playoff. Regarding those timescales, it would mean starting on the 6th of June at the latest, which is actually a month from the time of making this vid. Hopefully everything's better, but could everything be in place in terms of how we combat this stuff, how we mitigate around this, how we react to the inevitable first footballer that catches this, even behind closed doors, or the first member of staff that catches this? How do we react to that? There's so many grey areas. And you've also heard allegedly Premier League doctors of all clubs are all putting their expertise together to see what can be done in that. So yeah, obviously the government is announcing something on Sunday, so there isn't much they can do, at least on this current Wednesday, in terms of reacting to this. Parry went on to say and made it and said that it's increasingly likely League 1 and 2 will end with no further matches, but the Championship continuing until there's greater clarity over whether the Premier League attempts to restart the season are successful. Obviously, if the season isn't finished in July, even by finishing the season in July, there is a minefield to be working through around contracts that expire at the end of June. It's estimated that 1,400 EFL players are out of contract this summer, and the train is coming down to the tunnel very quickly. Players traditionally receive an additional severance payment in July if they have not found a new club. The clubs think that payment means their players are committed to another month. The PFA has indicated an alternative view and that players need an additional contract if they are to play beyond the 30th of June. Further asks, what's the realistic outlook for EFL clubs? Sorry, people, I'm scrolling down to see how much I have. Apologies, people. Go find that again. I just messed this all up. I apologise. Here we go. The initial outlook is grim. There is little point in clubs at lower levels playing matches behind closed doors, as that is what most of their income is derived from. There is an idea in League 1 and 2 could be mothballed. Clubs in League 1 and 2 could be mothballed, but that overlooks the fact stadiums still need to be maintained and utility bills still need to be paid. Gas, electric, it still needs to get paid, people. Simple as. So it's a pretty grim picture the way you look at it, people. So yeah, even if they could move, it's a lot. I was just reading another bit of it, people. Even if they do get around it, how does contracts work? So they've got to get around contracts, and then it's a lot. It's a difficult one, and it's no singular man, woman, or variable can actually decide this, people. It's a bit of a crazy one. And finally, I won't read all of Parry what he said, but he said it could get messy if the threat of relegation from the top flight was removed, as has been reported. The Premier League is aware of our position on that, he stated, going on to suggest lawyers are going to get wealthy if the Premier League opted not to relegate 3 teams. There would be a degree of outrage from a number of clubs in the Championship, and it would be a breach of the tripartite agreement. Hopefully I've said that correctly. So again, there's no winners. If you don't get promoted, you're gonna have something to say. Even if the bottom teams in the Premier League, like Norwich, probably are going to go down. Norwich will probably still be shameless and take them to court and things, as most people would, sort of thing, and Villa and things like that. So there's no way of winning this. There's no way. Someone's gonna have something to say. Someone's gonna moan about something. So there's a lot of red tape around this. Again, Parry was asked, if we were starting behind closed doors, it would be finely balanced economically. It's almost neutral, but for many clubs, it would actually cost them to play. We start to lose an element of broadcast revenue if we're unable to complete the season, but given the broadcast contract is nowhere near that of the Premier League, it's a relatively small contribution. In terms of wages and wage deferrals and cuts, people, our approach really is to say we're all part of the problem, so we all need to be part of the solution. The clubs, the players and the owners, we all need to share the pain. We'll have an open book policy. We're absolutely on board with the Deluded process, which is obviously, you know who that company is. Is there anything else? Finally, the Premier League has said if they're allowed to play, then they'll be in a position to talk to us about support for lower leagues. Parry said, we await that day. Discussions to date, I think it's fair to say that has been limited. He then went on to say parachute payments are an evil that needs to be eradicated. We have 6 teams in the Championship receiving parachute payments, giving them an average of 40 million per club. The other 18 get 4.5 each, so they're struggling to keep up. Obviously, that's probably in relation to dropping down from the Premier League to the Championship. If you get relegated, he said, we need to know where we're heading in 2 or 3 years. We need hope, we need a plan, and we need some clarity on the longer term future. Parachute payments are a vital... Sorry, people. The Premier League defended parachute payments and said parachute payments are a vital mechanism to give relegated clubs financial support while adjusting to significantly lower revenues and having higher cost base related to their playing squad, which I agree with, to be honest. We see no evidence that parachute payments distort performance at that level and are an essential part of this highly competitive environment. So in short, people... my phone thinks, but in short, it's a delicate situation and you don't want to move too slow, you don't want to move too fast. Again, wages, contracts, promotion, games played, revenue. There's many different themes that need to be sorted out, and we're still reacting until we get guidance from the football mirrors society and society mirrors football. Until society shifts in a different direction, or if the government said on Sunday, fuck it, we're gonna start opening everything up again. As stupid as that might be, then Premier League clubs can say, all right, cool, Premier League gets going again. Everybody get their fixtures back on. Make sure people turn up to your stadium, sort out the fans with the tickets, and let's go. Do you get it? But they can't do anything. Their hands are tied anyways because it's a delicate situation, and their hands are tied even more because of they can't really do much. But we'll see, man. But in short, it's a delicate one, and obviously big up to Scotland and England's national teams and men and women for obviously donating and things. And hopefully the Tory government and whoever, it's a difficult one because it's a difficult one, man, this voting thing. I want to keep it football, but it's like, obviously I'm more side with Labour, but I've never really believed in Labour because I think it's really two birds of the same feather. I look at the other parties, don't really want to vote for them, will never vote for Tories and them thing there. So you're just wondering, like, I might just stop voting people because there's no really to believe in. Like, as a young 24-year-old, I'm just coming up of people just lying, man. Like, Corbyn, to a degree, I believed in him, but again, he wasn't perfect. So it's like, who do you vote for? If you don't vote, obviously nothing can change to a degree, even though I don't think voting really changes much, and it's the illusion of democracy. I do think democracy is an illusion, but I'm going left, right and centre with this. Let's keep it football and allow me to get out of it. People, it's always a pleasure. Deluded, I'm out. Stay safe, stay well, stay watching my vids. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you like the vid. I'm out.